Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm your host, Aley Hammer, and today we're interviewing Pat MacFie, the co-founder of Manaaki. Pat, thank you so much for joining us today. And for those who don't know, can you start by telling us a little bit about Manaaki?
Kia ora, Ali. It's awesome to be here. Thanks very much for having me. Yeah, a little bit about Manaaki. Manaaki is a small business advice and support platform that we launched here in New Zealand at the time of the first COVID-19 lockdown, which was March the 25th last year, so nearly a year ago now. And it really came about as a result of the impact that COVID had on our own business. We ran a small design and innovation company, and in the space of like 72 hours, we lost over $500,000 in work and a large investment round because everybody was just battening down the hatches and nobody knew how this was going to play out. And that really was the thing, that COVID-19 brought about a whole new set of business challenges and problems that the world had never seen before. And our business was so severely impacted. When we took a moment to reflect after we stopped panicking for a second, we were like, this must be a problem for other small businesses as well. So how do they get access to the advice and the support that they need? And of course, the government was there, but really it was kind of like a panic situation. And we decided to work together with some of the smartest business people in New Zealand and expat Kiwis to establish a forum where people could come with their questions and they could access the smartest minds, the best business people in the country, to just start talking about the challenges. What eventuated is Manaaki became this light in the small business community here in New Zealand. Literally hundreds of thousands of users came through the platform, asked thousands and thousands of questions. And it was really around what's next for me. How do I solve this problem? But the thing that was different is that they needed answers now because they needed to act now. And so we became this place of immediate interaction and advice and support that kind of disrupted the traditional ways that small business got access to advice up until that point in time.
Wow, that is phenomenal. It's so cool to hear how Manaaki is working, to support everyday Kiwis. And Pat, can you share with us how you've been able to partner with AWS to deliver expert advice to everyday business owners? I mean, you said you're talking to startups. How do we come into play with this?
Yeah, it's really interesting. What we quickly became, because we had such a high volume of questions and answers and data coming through this platform, is we became the source of amazing qualitative data on the actual real-time sentiment of small business people in New Zealand. And in the midst of a pandemic, when large organizations, government agencies, small businesses alike are trying to make the best informed decisions, it's really hard to find data to support the decisions that you want to make. So we found that all of a sudden we had all this data around how small businesses were feeling, around the types of challenges that they were facing, the very specific elements of those challenges, like people had a lot of challenges around digital adoption, tools and services, but we were able to get right down to the micro of like the problems. Like, it wasn't just like digital marketing. It was like, I don't actually know how to set up and optimize the best bid for my SEM campaign, or I don't even know how to install this pixel on my website. So we got down right into the granular. And as we began to get that insight and share that insight with stakeholders like the New Zealand government, some of the larger organizations that we were working with, what we found is that we had this incredible source of data that nobody else had. But when we launched, on our launch platform, which was probably somewhere between alpha and beta, because we got it out in a matter of 3 days, we didn't have the ability to really crunch that data and understand it in a well-organized and systematic way that a platform like Amazon Comprehend offers us now, which is what the relationship for us is primarily about. Organizations, big, small, government, need access to the best data. And there's really no lack of quantitative data out there. but quantitative data isn't human. Qual data is human. And that's what's so great about Comprehend and the natural language processing and the sentiment analysis and all the key phrase analysis is that it makes that data human. It gives it humanity. And so what we're working with the wonderful team at AWS to achieve is, you know, a next generation product that helps us to surface the humanity in the small business challenges that we face now because of COVID-19 and how we recover from that and go from where we are today to reviving our economies, our small business economies, and eventually thriving again.
Wow. I mean, you said that so eloquently. Thank you for explaining what an incredible use case Manaaki is. So thank you. And Pat, recently the New Zealand government launched the Digital Boost program to support small business owners realize the benefits of digitizing their business. But can you share with us how Manaaki is helping to support this fantastic effort, because you are a key player in this?
Yeah, it's you know what the lockdown scenario showed up all around the world in small business economies all around the world is that the small business economies really and sectors really were lagging behind in adoption of the digital tools and services that enabled them to operate more productively and more efficiently. We saw this trend happen early and we launched a number of initiatives through Manaaki to help small businesses build that digital capability. And then as the government came to understand and recognize that this was a problem on a much larger scale, we were actually part of the successful bid. And it was based a lot on our success and the work that we've done with Manaaki that we're able to secure that contract to deliver an educational program alongside our great partners and friends at the Mind Lab to educate 50,000 small New Zealand businesses and build those core pillars of digital capability that they need around productivity, around efficiency, around financial operating systems. So a lot of the time people just think of digital as the space around, you know, e-commerce and social media and maybe content. There are a whole bunch of tools that small businesses can be using, you know, that are particular to their niche or to their category that can help them to stay more connected to their customers, understand their data better, become more profitable, become more efficient, and therefore increase their likelihood to survive through all of this. And our insight into that space based on all the work we had done just really uniquely positioned us to deliver this program alongside the team at the Mind Lab. And it's going really well to date. It's been in market for a few weeks now. We have thousands of people that have subscribed already. The target is 50,000. We're pushing aggressively towards that before the end of June.
Wow, it is so cool to hear, you know, such an innovative startup having such a positive impact on the lives of everyday Kiwis. And Pat, I guess what I want to know is, like, what does the future hold for Manaaki and how do you plan to move forward in 2021? Like, let's say there's a vaccination, you know, does your business still exist? Where do you go from here?
Yeah, as long as small businesses have problems and challenges, we'll still exist. What we've disrupted is the traditional pathway by which small businesses normally access advice. And when you access advice as a small business, and you know that support is funded by the government or through some sort of local council or agency, there's often a prolonged process that you have to engage with just before you can talk to somebody. At Manaaki, it's like, I've got a problem, I'll ask my question, I'll ask it through any channel, through WhatsApp, whatever, through Messenger. It'll get to the platform, it'll be systematically routed to the right person, and in an instant, I'll have a response. That's a service that doesn't really have a time limit on it or is strapped to a pandemic. But our real challenge for Manaaki is to move beyond COVID and for people to really understand that now you can leverage this service to help you with the day-to-day, the in and out. When you need access, world-class to a world-class advice, we're here for it.
I love it. I mean, for someone like me who's quite impatient, I think your service sounds so good. You can use any platform. It's totally awesome. And finally, one last question. At Community Chats, we know that many of our viewers are small business owners and they're really excited about the future of tech. So as a company born on the cloud, and you're a really new company, just 1 year old, what do you think will be the most important tech trend of 2021 and why?
Yeah, I mean, there's there's those macro trends that we're all concerned about around privacy, the use of our data, and those will continue to be important topics. There's something that I think transcends a trend. Like, they have to stay at the center of what we're doing. In terms of what I think the big trend will be, like, I'm less interested in the year-to-year sort of micro trend. What I'm interested in, and Manaaki is a reflection of this, how do we utilize technology to make the lives that we live better, to leverage all that technology can enable to help small businesses succeed? How do we take technology, which can be about bits and bytes and X's and O's, ones and O's, and make it more human, and bring that human insight to life to serve humanity? And how does creativity then come to play to bring that technology to life in new and amazing ways that deliver value to people? That's what I'm into.
Pat, you're such a good guy, and your business is amazing. What you've achieved in such a short amount of time, you should feel so proud. We are so thrilled to have a New Zealand customer on the show. So thank you so much. Go New Zealand.
Thanks for having us, Aley.
Thanks, Pat. We'll see you next time. Cheers.
See you later.